I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2,100 episodes. My goodness. Today, it's Tuesday. We're going to talk about how we execute a weekly mailer schedule to ensure a healthy acquisition pipeline. All week this week, Jill and I are talking about how we will earn, or we're scheduled to earn $2.5 million this year in 2025. Buying and selling real estate.
That seemed low to me when I saw that number.
I know. I struggled with it.
Is this semi-retirement? Is that what it is?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
We are, Jill and I, at a different point in our career, most likely than you are, and we're at a different income level, and our priorities are different. For the vast majority, up until maybe a couple of years ago, all I was interested in is making money. I don't care how long it took, how many hours it took, and all that. So if you're that kind of personality, that type A personality, that's just a nutcase like I am, it starts to wear on your employees and wear on your business partner. And
oh my God, yes.
So there's a rational place where after you've hit your financial goals, I think we talked about that last week or the week before, that's about it.
That was going to be my next question. And how will that change our lives, dear?
It won't.
That's my point.
It won't. So I could have put $5 million in here. In fact, I put $5 million in and hit the delete button and put 2.5. So, and we'll break the numbers down. So
I don't have to work that hard.
2.5, Jill doesn't know this probably until just this moment, is the actual, that is in the budget this year. And we'll break it all down.
Is it the bottom?
No, it's
it'll probably be more than that.
If I look back on what we've done company-wide, 2.5 is about the average.
Okay. Oh, for all the years?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not all the years, but the last lot of years.
10 or 20?
10.
Okay. Huh. This is cool.
So this week, like I said, Jill and I are talking about how we're making some number that Jill's not apparently happy with.
I know what happened. You know what? Here's what happens. We're going to be halfway through the year. He's going to push. And then that 2.5 goal will change. That's what happens. And it goes up, not down. That's who I get to sit next to every day.
I'll tell you what, when we get into the meat of the show here, I'm going to break it down about how I came up with that number, how many deals it's going to take, and work it all backwards, how many mailers to send out, how many phone calls it's going to generate, right down to the last detail. And then you tell me how much money you want to make.
I know.
Okay.
Thank goodness I have a good team.
Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum and take a deep dive into land-related topics by popular request.
Okay, Mark wrote, I'm working on a deal now with an owner who received my offer, called Pat Live, and wants me to call her back Monday morning. The property is just under 22 acres, high level, so let's say buy for $95,000 and sell for $200,000, still confirming the numbers. But I noticed on the property there's a dirt trail that is lined with a good amount of junk and abandoned cars. How big of a red flag is this? It is an older, out-of-state owner, so it may not even be their stuff. Would you try to get a reduction to the price? Any idea how much? Or if those purchase and sale numbers are generally correct, just factor that in and maybe getting a slighter lower offer, but still a good profit margin. Thanks in advance.
This also, like yesterday, warranted and garnered a lot of response. My favorite response was Bay's husband, Chris. Chris and Bay have been with us since the very beginning in Land Academy. She has led them into amazing success financially and otherwise. So hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of deals that they've done, and they continue to do it and continue to participate with Land Academy. Most people make a lot of money and just kind of close the Land Academy door, and they have chosen not to do that. But what he said was, been there, done that. And what he said, he went on to say, look, this is what you do. You call them, you talk to them about it. We've bought properties that have had junk and that worked out really well for us. And then properties where it all had to be removed and cost a lot of money. And he said in both cases in general, and I'm paraphrasing here, obviously, that they still made money, but you got to kind of find out if that's known at, what he said was, if that's kind of known as the junkyard, the area, it's the non it's the local junkyard, your lot.
Right.
You don't want that. And so, but here's what I heard in his response, and I believe this, and Jill's going to I'm sure, confirm this. There's a lot going on with this land. The prop person's out of state, probably has never been there, or maybe been there when it wasn't like the way that it is now. This is a huge opportunity for you, if you want the property, to call back and engage this seller in all kinds of topics to the point where they start to develop trust with you. Because this junk and this stuff is a great reason, and a legitimate reason, by the way, to reduce the purchase price, because you're going to have to deal with a lot of stuff. I see new people in Land Academy making this mistake all the time. They call the seller back. They say, yeah, $95,000 doesn't work for me. I think $70,000 is good. Why? Well, that's just what I think. They're not engaging the seller the way that Jill does, and forming a relationship with them and talking all about the junk. And pretty soon it's like the 95 doesn't matter. So
were you done?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No, I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, I'm making a note about this. This is good.
So engaging the seller is the whole point here. That can go both ways. The junk thing, I love when junk's on the property. It differentiates the piece of land from just a regular piece of land that has no, just a regular. If you go out on the internet and look at land that's for sale, there's just tons and tons of pictures of trees. And so you want to differentiate that. This is a huge opportunity. So
do we even know it's still really there? That's my first thing, too. How old are the pictures?
Yep.
So if you are concerned about it and you're really loving the land, it's sometimes really beneficial to hire a photographer really early on. If you don't have an agent that you like and trust to go out there and take a peek at it, then hire a photographer and have them go out and spend a couple $100 now. And you could use those photos for, if it all works out great and you buy it, and maybe you end up listing it yourself even, to get it rolling, to see if you can sell it without somebody and save that commission. So you have the photos, you'll have drone shots and things like that ready to go. So it's really good. Yeah, and now we know we can get access to it. They can drive those cars out there. Somebody's doing that and dropping stuff off. And then just be careful of what's out there. If it's an old refrigerator, then we get concerned. But if it's a cool classic Mustang convertible that somebody left there, you might just gloss over that and just buy it and now that's yours, kind of thing. So just like Jack said, talk to them and find out. They may not know. If it's either they know it's there and they think it's a negative about the property, which is that's what I would think. That's true. Or they don't know it's there and you just enlighten them. And then you need the pictures too for that, just to kind of let them know what's going on. They'll automatically start to go, shoot. All right, so 95 is probably beautiful and treed and whatever. Now I realize it's got this mess on it. They're going to start knocking the price back themselves. So you have to worry about that. No, and then so that's that question. Just have that conversation. But then the other thing I wanted to just bring up again, Jack is really great at the parts of our business that he does, the being out front and the data and all of that. He's not as aware, I should say. I must start to say self-aware.
He's not as aware. Welcome to the Jack Roast today.
Of our membership community and how many people have been with us many years. And I have a sweet gentleman right now who's coming back, I think the third or fourth time, I'm not sure. He has left and come back because one of the things about us, because we've been doing this for 3 decades now, you for 3 decades, me for 2, is that, we know how to roll with the punches. We know how to pivot and change and make money and adjust when there's upturns in the market and downturns in the market. And, oh my gosh, mail is changing and people are texting and, oh my gosh, now the texting's not working. If you're watching all these threads, these texts and things that people have been doing are now less effective and expensive, and they're getting in trouble for stuff. So we got to pivot. Who do we know that's survived and gone through all these things for many years? Well, gosh, that would be this person right here next to me. So
not a roast after all.
It's not one person, everybody leave. They don't, we have so many members that are quietly with us for now going on 10 years, and we're really happy and thankful and grateful for you. So I know you're there, so you don't have to be loud in Land Academy.
Actually, please don't.
Yeah, to let us know, like, hey, hello, I've been with you guys for 9 years now. Like, you know, I hope I'm not the only one. You are not the only one. So I just wanted to make that note. And we welcome you back. There's people, you know, there's no hard feelings. If you left and, you know, thought the grass was greener, or you were doing really great, and let me just make this too, because this happens often. They're like, hey, things have changed. Everything was going great for my business for 3 years, Jill. All of a sudden, this is not working and that's not working. I'm like, well, come on back. We'll fix it together. And that happens all the time. And we're happy to do that with you.
Today's topic, it's Tuesday, and we're talking about how we execute a weekly mailer schedule to ensure a healthy acquisition pipeline. The whole key to leading up and making the decision to do a weekly, let's just call it weekly stuff to get to a long-term goal, starts with the amount of money you want to make this year. It shocks me that the number of people that do not implement this before they put a mailer into place, learn how to buy and sell land, all of that. Long before you join a company like Land Academy or a group like Land Academy, you have to decide how much money you want to make. Write it on the mirror where you get dressed every morning. Do it in lipstick so you can't erase it. So this whole week is about $2.5 million. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide that by 12. But I usually divide it by 10 instead. That gives me 2 real bad months out of the year.
That's a good tip.
To fail at some stuff, because that's just what happens. Even at our age and with our experience level, stuff happens. So if I want to make $2.5 million, then I need to generate $250,000 of profit every month. Let's just call it 200. I'm going to make these numbers real round and easy. I can hear radios clicking off everywhere when I talk about this, the intense math piece.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so. I like
So I need to make $200,000 a month to get to my $2.5 million. My staff I know that my staff and Jill can effectively manage a certain amount of phone calls, and I know how many phone calls and responses and transaction processing, we call it. I know how much where it gets to be too much. So my way to reduce that is to, in Jill's way too, when we completely agree on this, I think, is to do less deals for more money. So let's say I want to do 2 deals a month. I want to do 2 great deals a month where I make $100,000 each on gross profit. And so that's, I'm going to have to send out how many letters, or what am I going to have to do to keep Jill and her staff engaged, keep that pipeline jammed full so that she's reviewing, 20 to 30 deals, maybe even more, before she decides that, yep, this is the one we can make $100,000 on. And so I work it backwards in the mail. Responses are about 1%. And so to get a deal, and we're, by the way, where we're choosing to send mail, I'm not going to send mail to make $100,000 on a deal in rural Nevada. I'm also not going to send it in New York, in Manhattan. Those 2 places, it's not going to work. There's no actual examples in the middle of Nevada and in urban New York where I can buy something for $100,000 or $200,000 and sell it for $100,000 more. See, there's no real guessing here. All I have to do is find out where that's already happening and send some mail out intelligently and well priced. That's what we talked about yesterday, finding those places. And then not, responsibly sending the mail so that your team can execute. Mm-hmm. So at 1%, if I send out 10,000 offers, at 1% of 10,000 is 100. So I'm going to get about 100 responses. And the way that we do it, that should be good for 1 deal. But I'm not good. That's not jamming the pipeline full enough.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
This is like if you screw it all up, these are your numbers.
Yeah.
I like that.
100 people are gonna respond somehow. About 50 of those people, this is very, very general, a serious generalization, are going to be calling back to express their unpleasant disdain for the fact that you sent out that offer.
That means we did it right.
Right.
I love those. Well, then let's talk. What should it be?
Now you've got
What do you
25
think it should be?
25 to 30 of those people say, you know what, we were thinking about selling this property anyway, but that number doesn't work for us. And that's when Jill really goes to work. And then about 10 people out of those 100-person response are going to say some version of, yep, yeah, we are going to sell. We want to sell, and this price works. But Jill's going to go back with her team, run through the due diligence like we talk about very often, and say, you know what, there's no access to this property. There's some fatal flaws that it's probably why it hasn't sold already. We don't want it for any price. That leaves the magic 1 or 2 people that have great pieces of property that fit our acquisition criteria. And this is the secret sauce to this. The secret sauce is not we're amazing, because we're not. The secret
Speak
sauce
for yourself.
is send a truck ton of mail out, let the chips fall where they fall, and get some deals done.
Okay, I have questions, please. So today's topic is how we do a weekly mailer schedule, right? For our pipeline. I'm new. Can you please tell me, should I think about Monday through Friday? Should I think about in the month, week 1 through 4? How should I structure my time to get this mailer schedule consistent?
This is how I do it.
Okay.
And your question is timed perfectly. I don't want to do every week a mailer.
Okay.
Because I'm lazy.
You don't want to do mailer Monday?
No.
Got it.
I do mailer Monday.
Right.
But in the beginning, what I do is all the mail for that month. So if I need to send out 10,000 a month should be enough. I like to process, 70 or 80,000 records at a time. So I'm a few months ahead constantly. I process it all, price it all, and get it back to Offers to Owners, which is our mail company. And we have if you don't want to do this at all, you can call Offers to Owners and they'll do it for you. Mm-hmm. I process it all and I tell them, please release 2,000 records on every Monday. Mm-hmm. And they do that. What it allows me to do, and Jill's real direct about coming back to me and saying, we have too many deals, so we need to skip a couple of weeks. But you always want to have the mailer schedule set up like that and ready to go.
It's not real often, though. We can handle it. I'd rather have too many deals coming at me and then be running around like a crazy person. That's the real goal.
What you
don't really want to do that.
This is what you do not want to do, and it's what most people do, as follows.
Yeah.
I didn't do one this week, so I'll double up next week. It'll be fine. You do not want to do that. You want to get into a mailer schedule and absolutely make sure all the people in Land Academy Pro have mastered this, and they're making tons of money. We can see the properties. Our staff processes the acquisitions for Land Academy Pro, and we can see how many escrows they have open, and it's staggering. It's more than we do. In a lot of cases.
Sometimes, yeah.
The whole key to this is a weekly mailer schedule.
That's
everybody in Career Path that makes millions of dollars a year, like us. They have stories of recklessly mailing.
How far out is too far out? Like, say I don't want to do it. I'm not that good at it. Can I do 6 months at a time, or should I do like 90 days because my data needs a refresh?
The data refresh thing, unless you're sending a lot of mail out for houses, you don't want to get too far out. But I think a month.
A month?
You should do one
month at a time.
Good solid, if you're new, good solid mailer a month. If you're at a different level, you're probably processing a lot more than that. Look, the real insurance policy.
The first week of the month, maybe of every month, this is what I do. Okay, got it.
Yeah, the first Monday, let's say, of every month. Mailer Monday is what we call it in our office.
One of the things I see people doing, I thought you were going to say this with your examples. This is a different example. One of the things I see people doing wrong is they work real hard. Maybe that first week the mail goes out. They're waiting for the phone to ring, and then the phone rings, and then they're doing their due diligence, and then they're working on buying it, and then they're working on marketing it, and then they're working on selling it. And now 6 weeks have passed. So like every step took a week, right? But they've done nothing else in between there. So no other mail went out. It's like it needs to be building on each other. So they wait. So 6 weeks, 8 weeks go by, and they're like, and it's sold. They're like, great. And then they're like, now they have to start all over again. Instead of starting week 1, like having a week by week thing, and they all overlap. Mail went out, calls are coming in, fielding the calls. Mail's going out, calls are coming in, reviewing these, buying these. You should have all these things happening at the same time. That's what I want you to do. My favorite thing is the fire hose. You should feel like there's a fire hose in your face. Seriously. That is the best possible solution. And that's what's going on with our pro people. Because I know they're good at it now, but in the beginning when they joined LA Pro, it's basically Land Academy Pro is for after career path. We have made our team available, and our team's so available that you better have the volume because it's just not worth it otherwise.
I set up.
It's male nuttiness. Like the minimum, I think, is 10,000 units or something like that.
And it's use it or lose it.
Yeah. So you're going to be like, I got to get the mail out, And so you're like, you scramble a little bit like, oh my gosh, until you get comfortable with it. And you need to be uncomfortable and then you'll get comfortable. Because the more uncomfortable you are, the more you have to review, the better decisions you're going to make.
My goodness, Jill, it's strangely attractive when you get upset about this.
Sorry. I'm like, stop. I have to finish this thought. Anyway, that's it.
You got to send the mail out real consistently. That's it.
Yeah.
Or this won't be successful.
This just needs to be your life.
It needs to be your life.
Line. It has to be your life. If you don't like this and you're struggling, every day with it, you're not going to be consistent and you won't be successful. And it's with anything. It's not this. And you know that. It's anything. Jack used to talk about playing the guitar. I can't tell you how many guitars we own. Every trip in the RV, we buy another guitar.
Most of them are in Goodwill now.
Yes. So
there's only one left.
But it's just like it's not because it's not important to you. So this needs to be part of your life. And if it is part of your life and you're that focused, you will say no to a lot of other things, which is really good. And then you will come up for air in 6 months and be really successful and happy with your bank balance.
None of this matters today, what we talked about, unless tomorrow's Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about how we manage the massive amount of inbound seller response to our mailers. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. We are Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.